here. Now the Blues get it in front. Shot. They score! Walker! His first game up! And from the Blues own zone, a bank pass by Robert Bortuzzo. Walker just slams it in, takes a hit from Smith.
What's going on, everybody? Today we have another terrific special guest. He's our first hockey athlete to join. He was drafted by the Washington Capitals in the third round of the 2014 draft and made his debut during the 17-18 season. He has spent time with the Capitals, Oilers, and now our St. Louis Blues. He won a Stanley Cup in 2018 with the Capitals and is the only Australian to ever make it to the NHL. Welcome to the pod, St. Louis Blues forward Nathan Walker. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Nice intro.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so I've listened to some of your other interviews, Spit and Chicklets, and other popular podcasts like that. So I'm trying to find questions that are not the cliche normal ones that people ask you.
Yeah.
But I have found some. I want to go through some Australia, and some family questions because you're a new father to another kid there.
Yeah.
But obviously some questions on the ice. So I guess we can get it started with being from Australia, not a big hockey market. How did that all begin, and how did you become, I guess, interested in hockey at that point?
Just my brother and I went to a rink one day. I was probably 5, 6 years old, and my brother's a little bit older than me, and we just saw ice hockey being played, and pretty much from there on, we just decided to give it a go. And then ever since we stepped foot on that ice, we both loved it. And I just kind of stuck with it and just kept wanting to play.
So, like, how did you go training? Because I mean, is there a lot of training for that down there?
Yeah, a lot of long drives my parents made. We'd go out once a week, but it would be probably an hour and a half away, and we wouldn't get back until 11, even midnight, and then got school the next day. But we wouldn't practice too much. It'd probably just be once, twice a week at most.
Gotcha. And then obviously I mentioned you being the only Australian to ever make it. Hopefully there's more coming. But with that being said, is that something you take pride in? Because I know a lot of people talk about it. So is that something you take pride in?
I mean, yeah, it's, I kind of look at it at the end of the day, there's thousands more hockey players in the world that are playing the game they love. And I kind of look at it that way. But then I guess when you take a step back and you realize that, there's only a couple of you from, Australia, and, it is pretty special. And obviously I'm very proud of that. And, obviously the hockey community back home isn't very big, but it is definitely a proud one. And, it's definitely good to go back home and share the stories with them, and, kind of help them along the way too.
How's the hockey scene right now? Do you keep up with it at all? Is it growing?
Yeah, it's growing slowly but surely. Obviously the climate doesn't help with it being so sunny there all the time, but it's obviously expensive too. I'm sure a lot of parents can agree with me on that one, that hockey's expensive now. And, there's different sports, it's a lot easier to grab a rugby ball and a soccer ball and kick those around than it is to get skate sticks, helmet, gloves, all the equipment. So I think the hockey shops back home are doing a really good job of, kind of making the accessibility to all the equipment better. But, it's going to take time for sure.
And then you mentioned soccer and rugby. So I'm in the belief that if you play a lot of different sports, it helps you. Like, don't just stick to one. Like, did you play soccer and rugby growing up?
I played a lot of rugby growing up. I'd play soccer with school, and, cricket, basketball.
Yeah.
Pretty much every sport you could to get out of some sort of class and get out on the field and play. I did it. But no, I agree with that. I think the more sports you play when you're younger, the better it is for, long-term hand-eye and all that kind of good stuff too.
And then I also mentioned in the intro, family-wise, I mean, you're now a father of two. Is it a boy, girl?
Yeah, we just had a little boy. Yeah, he's
right
4 months old. Yeah, thanks.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he's doing great. He's getting nice and chunky now, which is good. So it's he's doing well. He's doing well. Thank you.
And then what's your first child, boy, girl?
My daughter. Yeah, her name's Winter.
Okay, right on. And how old is she?
She'd be about 2.5 right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're enjoying it?
I am. Yeah. It's obviously there's some days where I guess it's a struggle, but that's part of parenthood. They definitely push you to your limits, but it's at the end of the day, you always go to bed smiling, and knowing you got two healthy, beautiful kids. So that's the main point of it.
For sure. Lack of sleep at all?
Oh, if I say yes, then my wife might get mad at me. So I'm gonna say no because I don't really do a whole lot. But
Yeah.
you ask my wife that question, she's gonna definitely say yes, lack of sleep. No, my wife does a really good job. She knows I got a job to do, and she's very accommodating to that. Obviously, there's times when it's my turn to get up in the middle of the night or whatnot. But she's like I said, she's very good and very accommodating with all that kind of stuff.
I'm not a father, but I know it's probably a huge change and adjustment you have to make. So I wish you the best of luck with that moving forward. I guess
Yeah,
moving
thank you.
moving to more on the ice questions, I guess we'll start with the beginning. Winning a Stanley Cup with the Capitals. I mean, that's a handful of people that get to say that. Obviously, we experienced it in 2019, and it was unbelievable. But what was that experience like, especially as a rookie?
It was crazy. I mean, obviously, I wasn't there the whole year, and I didn't play much in the playoffs, but that whole experience was nuts. Just to kind of be a part of going through playoff rounds and being down and around, being up and around, and then the ups and the downs. I think being a spectator and a teammate of some of the players that were going through everything was great, and that whole experience, I'll obviously never forget any of that. Throughout my whole life, but it was just such an incredible experience to be a part of.
Yeah, so I have a question in a little bit here about kind of your welcome moment in the NHL that a lot of people have. I feel like in sports, they have that either meeting somebody or a moment that you have playing. I have to ask though, what's it like being around a guy like Ovi? Like it's got to be surreal, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when I first went to camp, I was 17 or 17, 18 or whatever, and you see him on TV and you see the shot and everything, and then you realize you're actually on the ice with him. And I think as a young kid, you take a step back and you're like, wow, this is actually quite crazy. You got Obi Backstrom, you got other young guys like Tom Wilson that were there as well.
Mm-hmm.
It was just great. It was great to be out there, and like I said before, with the Stanley Cup, it was just such a great experience, and something I'll cherish for the rest of my life.
And then you spent a little time in Edmonton, correct? In between?
I did, yeah. I got put on waivers. Got picked up by Edmonton. Was there for a few weeks. Got put back on waivers, and then Washington reclaimed me.
Gotcha. And then did you
Yeah.
come here in 2020? Is that correct?
Yes, the year after the Blues won the cup, I
That's
came
right.
in.
Okay. Yeah. And so how was that move from I guess Washington to St. Louis? How was the transition?
It was okay. Obviously different cities. Different style of play, I think, but all the players here were very accommodating. They helped me so much. My wife was pregnant with our first actually then as well, so we had a few things that we had to do, and everyone helped me. All the older guys kind of showed me the right way, and whether it was their wives kind of contacting with my wife Taylor to put her in the right doctors and all that kind of good stuff. But yeah, no, it was pretty seamless. They were very good to us for sure.
I was about to say, I know you have to say all the good things, like you love it here, but do you enjoy it here?
I do, yeah, I do. I mean, otherwise I wouldn't have re-signed, right?
That's
It's
facts. Yeah, that's true.
I've signed 3 deals now with St. Louis, and
Yes,
I love it. I mean, if I didn't like it here, I didn't enjoy the players, the team, the coaching staff, the training staff. If I didn't enjoy it, then I wouldn't re-sign. So I think me just re-signing three times here, I think definitely says volumes of the organization that they brought up here.
for sure. So I grew up as a DP 57 guy. I met him when I was a little kid, and so
Yeah.
I got his jersey and I've kept it. Now he's in Detroit, obviously. I have to tell you, I have your jersey on the way, so I'll be rocking that at Enterprise
Oh,
this year.
sick! I love hearing that. That's
There you
good.
go.
That's good.
We've asked like prior athletes we've had on, like if they have any superstitions or any routine. So, what does a game day look like for you? I guess waking up to game time.
Yeah, I just probably wake up. Whether I wake up hungry or not, I'll either have breakfast here at the rink, and then just kind of go through my stretching and make sure my gear is ready for practice. The little pregame skate we do, take my stick up, go out there, have a 12 for 20, 30 minutes, and then jump off. Either jump in the hot tub, cold tub, do a little transitional contrast like that. Grab some lunch, go home, and then have a nap for a little bit, depending on how tired I am, whether it's a long one or a short one. And then I'll head to the rink usually a few hours before the game, and then just kind of get ready for game day at the rink. I don't really have any superstitions or anything. I think I got more routine things that I do, but I wouldn't say
Gotcha.
I'm quite superstitious at all.
Gotcha. And then obviously, I've heard only great things about this whole Blues squad. And I think you guys are going to be really successful this year. Sadly, it didn't turn out like we wanted it last year. Benner going down and stuff like that. But I've also seen a lighter side, I guess, on social media of a bunch of the guys. Is there a funniest guy in that locker room that kind of stands out?
Uh, I don't know. I don't know if I could tag it down to one funny guy. I think everyone's
Yeah.
got their own little bits.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, no, I think everyone's great. Like the whole locker room's good. There's no one that you kind of turn a blind eye to, but everyone's great. I mean, everyone gets along with everyone. Everyone's always laughing, having a good time, and I think that makes for a very winning culture at the same time as well.
For sure. And speaking of winning culture, it seems like ever since Chief has gotten here, he's kind of instilled it in all of you guys. And obviously you can't share everything that's going on in there, but we only see kind of like the outside of what he's like. We see him getting fired up in the locker room videos and stuff like that on social media. What's it like having a coach like that? And what is he like?
He's great. I mean, I think the amount of respect that he has from the players, is huge. Whenever he talks, everyone stops what they're doing and listens to him. And he's a great coach. I think he's really good at what he does. And, I think as a coach, if you can walk into a room and get everyone's attention, that's a great thing too. And, I think a lot of guys enjoy playing for him and always want to go to battle for him as well.
Yeah. And then I mentioned earlier about your favorite moment, I guess, or made it moment. So I mean, you can tell me if something pops out to you, but that's different than what I'm saying here. But first goal in Montreal in your debut, that was kind of a funky goal, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. It was, obviously you draw one up thinking that you're going to go post it in or something cool like that. I was kind of just boxing out the winger that was trying to get out to our shooter that we had lined up, and I just boxed him out, and the shot ended up going off my backside in the net.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely not how you draw him up, but I'll for sure take that one.
Goal's a goal. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
You had a big time go ahead goal. I don't remember the year, but it was against Washington as a Blue. In the third period, there I think there was 9 minutes left.
Yeah.
Do you remember
Yeah.
that?
I think that was last year, last season.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that was cool. I mean, that was the first time I got to play against Washington in Washington as well, and
Exactly.
I think I just got called up the night before as well. And yeah, I mean, Shannon made a hell of a play. He's such a good player and he's so smart with the puck. I just had to go to the net with my stick on the ice, and sure enough, he made the play and eventually ended up in the back of the net.
Yeah. And then the third one I have here, and I was actually present. I was there. That hat trick against Detroit.
Yeah.
That place was electric, man. I took my girlfriend there that night. We actually took two people that had never been to a hocky game. So you put
Wow.
you put on a show that night.
Oh, nice.
They like that one a lot. But either of those, any of those three, or is there something else? You met somebody that kind of stands out?
I mean, every day it's kind of like that. I mean, everyone loves playing the NHL. Every day you're there, you always, count your lucky stars that you're there. And, I think to be around certain guys and hang out with guys and be able to skate with them is great. And, I mean, I probably can't tag it down to one specific moment, but I just, I obviously love playing the NHL and, hopefully I can for years to come as well.
And I guess building off of that you said that, I didn't write this down, but is there guys that you looked up to growing up in Australia in the NHL that you wanted to be like, or have you met any of them or anything like that?
I think like when you're younger, you kind of just look at all the good players. But I think as I got a little bit older, and realized, I'm obviously not going to be 6'6" skating around. So then you try and find smaller guys that you can maybe play like, or that you admire, maybe take a thing or two from their game. And there was some smaller guys, like obviously Marty St. Louis was pretty good. I really enjoyed watching him, and I think Zach Parise is really great. Not saying he's small, but
Yeah.
I just think the way he played, he was always being in front of the net. I think if I can take a couple things away from those guys, and I think that could help potentially my game a bit.
For sure. Yeah, I think you're honestly right. You're right there, man. I think you're about to blow up this year. I think the whole team's going to be very successful. And I guess I have to say, do you set any personal goals for yourself, like a goal amount or assist amount, whatever it may be, or do you just want to improve?
Yeah, well, you definitely set goals. I think I always set goals before the season, whether it's just staying healthy, don't get sick, try and make sure you're getting your 8 hours of sleep, like those kind of goals. And then obviously there's goals you want to hit on the ice too, which is maybe you want to try to get 2 hits a game, 2 block shots a game, 3 shots a game, those kind of things. And then obviously that will lead into, you want to score 15 goals, 20 goals, whatever. But yeah, no, every year I set goals myself. And, I think if you can tick off some of them throughout the season, then, usually can count down to a pretty decent year.
And then how was your off season as well? Because you guys are all back together now, right?
Yeah, most of the guys are back in St. Louis now. But yeah, I head home with my family in the summer, and we go back and have winter in Australia.
There you go. There you go. And your brother got married recently as well?
He did, yeah. He got married last summer or last winter.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's a busy off season. I'm sure you're filled with training too, and then you have a new kid you have to work. I mean, this is why it's so special having you here, because you're jam packed with stuff.
Yeah, well, my family's actually back home in Australia right now, so it's kind of good time in doing this.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd probably have a 2-year-old running around screaming.
Yeah.
So it's, figured we get it in now before they come over it.
For sure. So that's all I have for today's episode. For today's interview, I should say. But it really shows, I mean, the character that you are, taking your time out to do something like this. We're no big podcast. We're just trying to grow here in St. Louis.
Yeah, no, of course. No.
And so for you taking your time out of obviously a busy schedule, and you even said before we hopped on here that somebody bumped into your car and you're waiting for a call from the insurance.
Yeah, I'm just not sure when they're calling. So I thought if we could get this interview and get this podcast would be good. So just in case they called, but no, they haven't called yet.
There you go. Well, I just got in a car wreck myself. I went to Colorado for a vacation. Was hydroplaning in Kansas, ran over a mile marker, and my car's in the shop right now. So I'm in the same boat. Yeah. But man, I thank you so much for joining us, or joining me, I should say. I wish my other 2 guys could have been here and experienced this. But we're going to post this everywhere, and we're really excited for all our listeners to get to know you more. I'm very blessed to get to know you more, and obviously best of luck this season moving forward.
Yeah, thank you very much. No, I really appreciate having me on. It's always love sharing my story, and always love answering questions about the game of hockey and St. Louis as well. It's great.